Did you know that in 1952, the princess was on a visit in Kenya when her father died and she came from there as a queen? Here are top 5 interesting visits which the Queen Elizabeth II had in African countries.
Somebody asked me, had I been to Africa before, which was nice of them to ask, but I did say that I had been everywhere in the Commonwealth in Africa and in other countries in Africa. I think I've seen more of Africa than almost anybody.
Number 1, she visited South Africa in 1947, which in fact was her first trip abroad with the whole family, and she turned 21 while being in South Africa and made a speech about that.
South Africa and Rhodesia, my parents, my sister and I have been taken to the heart of their people and made to feel we are just as much at home here as if we had lived among them all our lives.
Second, 1952, Kenya. She was on a trip at the Treetops Hotel when she received the news that her father died, who was George VI, on 6th February 1952. And while she came in Kenya being a princess, she rushed back home to become a queen.
When she returned from a night in the forest, it was to learn that she is now the queen.
Ghana, 1961. After cancelling another trip which she could have in 1957, the trip which was planned in 1961 came with a lot of controversy, which even 5 days just before her coming to Accra, some bombs went off in the capital and the statue of the then president Kwame Nkrumah was attacked. Yet, even after her team advising her to stay, she decided to go and visit Ghana in 1961. 4. Ethiopia, 1965. Being one of the countries which was never colonized and having a very charismatic emperor, Haile Selassie, she got a visit in Ethiopia with the Emperor Haile Selassie, who again was in exile and well kept near her when the Italian attacked Ethiopia. And this time he took her also in his garden. Now in Ethiopia he had as pets lions, and they formed good relationships between those two countries.
Spear, a 6-year-old chestnut sired by the 1949 Derby winner Nimbus, was one of the Queen's gifts to the Emperor. On the racecourse, the tribesmen gathered in their native glory to display for the Queen's benefit the traditional Ethiopian form of a tournament.
5. Algeria, 1980. This was one of the rarest trips which she had in the northern side of Africa, and it was just a few days after an earthquake which brought a lot of victims, and she took time to visit the Mustafa Hospital where she actually visited and spoke to some of the victims. But these are not the only countries which she visited in Africa. There are so many others, as Zambia, Nigeria, Uganda, and also she received so many African leaders as Mobutu, Mandela, and so many others. Thanks so much for being here. Catch you next time. Hey, my name is Bertin and I'm sharing 100 real stories about events which happened in Africa. And if you want to know more about them, follow or subscribe.